Guillem, thank you for chatting to us, taking the time to talk to La Liga News. Talk to us about your book a little bit.
Well, it's had 2 or 3 phases. First one, thinking about what I was going to write about. We agreed with Ryan to do something on Pep Guardiola, but I said only if I can talk to him, and he agreed. Then you start doing interviews, and it took about 6 months to do them. And finally, the summer comes, and in the middle of the European Championships, you put it all down in writing, and there it is. You think this is it, but no, it's not it, because there is a little bits to do. There is editing that takes place. There is, of course, it was written in English, so then it got translated into Spanish. So I had to work on that a little bit, helping the translator. And at the same time, parallel to that, I decided to just go around and tell people that there is a book out there on Pep Guardiola, and that has been transformed into this kind of tour of the of events related to the book and really to Spanish football. Because wherever I went, it was like, oh, you should have made it bigger, or why don't you come here? Why don't you come there? And ended up being in Dublin, Belfast, Glasgow was amazing, York, Edinburgh, and Liverpool, Manchester, Liverpool twice. And I've discovered I've made a lot of new friends, but I've discovered there is passion for football, which to me, in my eyes, is passion for life. It's just a lot of people that want to know and want to know more, want to learn. And I found that fascinating. And certainly, the other country I know very well is Spain. You don't find that kind of passion and thirst for a foreign league, if you like.
How key do you think Guardiola was to Barcelona's success? I mean, they had a brilliant academy already in place, but what did the man himself do?
Barcelona played against Liverpool in 2007, and they lost at the Camp Nou 2-1 against not a, exceptional Liverpool. And it was Xavi was there, Iniesta was there, Valdés was there, Ronaldinho at the time. So Pep Guardiola arrived to a team that had lost discipline and had lost hunger, and he just put that right. But also got the seminal idea of Johan Cruyff and transformed it into something else. He took it to a different dimension and made history in football. Making history is not just scoring, scoring 100 goals in a year or 92 like Messi, but it's also about moving the game to a new direction at a time when everybody knows about everything. And he did it consistently for such a long time that is unparalleled in history.
Yeah, you see different teams copying Barcelona's style or trying to, because they do the 6-second press. You see a lot of teams trying to emulate that.
Yeah, the thing is, Pep Guardiola did it for a reason. Football has been developed, first of all, from the way you defend, and then you think about your attack, but first it's about how you defend. The start of his arrival to Barcelona, he was already had the completely opposite idea, which is let's start in how we attack. But it was partly because of the kind of players he had, because he believed in that idea of being protagonists on the pitch, of getting the ball as soon as he can, of keeping the ball. So it was about how you attack. But it was also because in that way he could defend better. So a series of new things that I think they hadn't been thought of, developed an original idea, but converted into something wonderful.
Do you think he can bring success to Bayern Munich? Because they've come so close in the last 2 Champions Leagues. And do you reckon his style can actually adapt to the Bundesliga?
He's going to have to adapt to the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga is going to have to adapt to him. So all in all, it's going to be an interesting project. It's 3 years, so you're going to have time to get it wrong. And certainly what you're finding is a team that's already winning things. So they're probably going to go to the Champions League final, maybe. They're going to win the league, the semi-finals in the Cup. So he's already a winning team. So he's not going to start from scratch. But of course, I saw it against Arsenal, I saw Bayern Munich that there's room for improvement, could get better. And I think he will identify that and make it better.
What would be your main concerns about his style of play in the Bundesliga, if you had to say you had any?
I don't have concerns, because I know that he's going to try things that will be different. But he knows also the kind of players that he needs to actually make it work. So perhaps a concern that people have had is his ability to sign players. But where he's going, he's just going to say, yeah, no, maybe this one, maybe that other one, because it's the club who actually is signing players. So from that point of view, he'll be fine, he'll just be a coach. And if he's just a coach, then all he has to do is find that magic moment that he talks about where, you know, everything makes sense, where he finds the way to beat a team. He has to do that at Bayern, and that's the foot of his foot of life for him. That's what he wants. He'll find that, and if he finds that, he will apply it into the pitch. They lose games like they all do, but I've got all the confidence that he can do well.
With the title race seemingly over, Barcelona, you know, quite clear at the top. What do you reckon that means for Mourinho at Real? Do you think he needs to move on to another challenge, maybe go back to Chelsea?
It looks like they've reached a point of no return. It looks that way at the moment, and if that's the case, then obviously he has to find another challenge. But I tell you, another challenge that is completely different to Chelsea has already been there. It will be PSG, for instance, in another league, a team that will challenge for the Champions League. A team very similar to, in a way, to Chelsea when he first arrived. That will be a different challenge. What's going to be interesting is that, of course, he's under contract, so he's going to have to be sacked. And I know there's been an agreement for him to part companies, club and him, for 10 million euros. But, you know, he may just play his cards and say, you know, I won the 10th European Cup, perhaps, and I want you to get rid of these people, or you get rid of me. So there's still maybe a chance, very tiny, don't believe in it just yet, of him staying, in which case that would be interesting because it means that some of the key guys would have been let go at Madrid.
How do you think Pochettino's adapted to the Premiership, and do you think he could be successful?
Adapt to the Premiership. Give me a year and I'll tell you. He's just arrived. I mean, he's learning the language, he's learning how it works. He, in that crucial week in Barcelona after he arrived, where they were actually working in the way that you've seen, with a team that had already done a lot of good, and he didn't have to needed to start from scratch. He's put the basis, the foundations for the rest of the season, but he's come in the middle of the season, so we have to see, you know, need for an analysis, a proper analysis, a longer season to actually realize how good or bad he's doing. But again, talking about a coach that will identify problems and will apply different solutions to the one that were being applied, and, you know, let's hope it works. I think the material, the human material and knowledge is there for Southampton to progress.